Multiple people have claimed to see a large furry animal trudging through the woods.
There's now even a museum dedicated to the sightings of what some are calling Bigfoot.
Deep in Michigan's forests, where ancient trees cast long shadows and legends whisper through the leaves, something extraordinary was captured on camera. What started as
Something is leaving these footprints. They are the tracks of a very real primate.
trail cam footage would uncover evidence more compelling than anyone expected. A lone recording, a trucker's terrifying encounter, and a government cover-up, all pieces of a puzzle that's haunted Michigan for over a century. The Michigan Dogman isn't just a campfire story anymore. The evidence is right here, and it's more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. From historical sightings to modern encounters, this is the story of how one of America caught on camera through pure accident. Welcome back to the Cryptid Report. Scott Carpenter never meant to capture a dogman on camera. As one of Michigan's most experienced cryptiders, he spent years tracking Bigfoot through dense forests, setting up feeding stations, and collecting evidence of the elusive creature. But sometimes, the most extraordinary discoveries happen when you're looking for something else entirely. That fateful day, Carpenter was doing what he always did, wearing his signature back-trail camera mounted on his shoulder. The device was simple but effective, constantly recording what lurked behind him as he moved through the wilderness. He had learned long ago that mysterious creatures preferred to stay hidden, watching from a distance rather than confronting humans directly. Years of experience had taught him to recognize the telltales of a Sasquatch in the area, the way the hair on your neck stands up, the strange pressure in the air, the unmistakable feeling of being watched. But on this particular afternoon, those familiar sensations were present. The forest felt normal, peaceful even, as Carpenter checked his station, a carefully chosen spot where researchers leave food to attract Sasquatch, hoping to collect DNA samples or capture footage. The gentle rustle of leaves and chirping of birds could a serene back as he went about his routine work. It wasn't until later that evening, while reviewing his footage in the comfort of his living room, that Carpenter's ordinary day took an extraordinary turn. At first, it was just a flicker of movement in the background, something dark shifting through the foliage. Most researchers might have dismissed it as a shadow or a trick of the light. But Carpenter's years of experience had taught him to trust his instincts. Frame by frame, he rewound and replayed the footage, his heart beginning to race as the shape became clearer. A head was emerging from the brush, but not the flat-faced profile he'd expected from a Sasquatch. This was something altogether different. As he zoomed in, his hands trembling slightly on the controls, the details became unmistakable, a pronounced snout, unlike anything he'd seen before in his research. Even more chilling were the nostrils, visibly flaring as the creature moved, suggesting it was actively scenting the air, scenting him. The realization hit Carpenter like a physical blow. While he had been calmly checking his feeding station, something had been stalking him, something that wasn't supposed to exist. The creature mere feet away, close enough to strike if it had wanted to, yet so stealthy that even an experienced researcher hadn't noticed its presence. The footage revealed more unsettling detail viewing. The way the creature moved showed clear intelligence, its movements deliberate and calculated. This was the random wandering of an animal. This was a predator, carefully assessing its surroundings. The fact that it had chosen to follow behind him, staying just out of his peripheral vision, suggested a level of tactical thinking that sent chills down Carpenter's spine. What made the encounter even more remarkable was the clear difference between this creature and the Sasquatch he'd spent years studying. The dogman's features were unmistakably canine, yet its behavior displayed an almost human-like intelligence. It wasn't an animal, though its form was cloaked in darkness, its outline barely visible under the thick canopy of trees. The only thing that stood out were its eyes, two glowing orbs reflecting the dim light from his camera. Igor froze. Was this the creature behind the growls? Was it some kind of wild animal or something else entirely? He raised his camera, trying to focus, his heart pounding in his chest. The figure didn't move. It just watched him, its gaze intense, as if it were studying him as much as he was studying it. For what felt like an eternity, neither of them moved. Then, with a swift, fluid motion, the figure retreated into the darkness, leaving Igor standing in stunned silence. Igor stood there, his mind racing, trying to comprehend what he had just seen. Was it a trick of the light? Had he imagined it? But no. The camera's footage was clear enough, if grainy and distorted. Something had been out there watching him. And it wasn't just the growls or the strange tracks. It was the presence of the figure itself. The forest had always felt like a safe place, a home where nature's mysteries were simply part of the landscape. Now it felt different. It felt dangerous. In the days that followed, Igor found himself unable to shake the image of the shadowy figure. He had always been a man of the wilds, someone who respected the power of nature. But now the wilderness seemed foreign, even threatening. His thoughts were consumed by the encounter. He stopped hunting for sport, no longer wandering the forest with the same confidence. He became more withdrawn, almost paranoid. Every creak of a tree, every rustle of leaves sent him on edge. His cabin, once a sanctuary, now felt like a prison, its walls closing in around him. The villagers who had once greeted him warmly now noticed the change. He no longer told stories about the wonders of the forest or the triumphs of his hunting. Instead, he spoke in hushed tones about the creature, the figure, the growls. Some of the locals dismissed it, chalking it up to the isolation and the toll it took on the mind. But others listened with a mix of skepticism and fear, aware that the Siberian wilderness held secrets that could not be explained. To them, Igor's experience wasn't just a man's overactive imagination, it was a warning. On the other hand, Igor found himself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. The forest, once a sanctuary, now felt shrouded in mystery. Driven by a need for understanding, he reached out to local researchers and shared his experience. While some were skeptical, others were intrigued, noting that his description bore similarities to regional legends of the Almas, a bipedal humanoid creature said to inhabit the remote areas of Siberia. News of his encounter spread, eventually reaching the ears of researchers and journalists eager to learn more. They traveled from far and wide, hoping to get a glimpse of the mysterious creature that had haunted Igor's nights. But Igor remained elusive. He spoke briefly about what he had seen, but his eyes betrayed his fear. He wasn't ready to confront what lurked in the forest again. Not yet. He had seen something that didn't belong to this world, and that knowledge weighed heavily on him. In the years that followed, Igor's story became one of those whispers around campfires, half believed, half dismissed, but never forgotten. The forest had always been a place of wonder, a place of connection to something greater than the self. But for Igor, it was now a place of mystery and fear, a reminder that not all things in the wilderness could be understood. His story was no longer just his own. It was part of the lore of Siberia, a legend of the shadow that watched from the trees, waiting, always waiting. For Igor, the encounter had fundamentally changed his relationship with the wilderness. The forests that had once felt like home now felt like a land of secrets, secrets that sometimes were better left undiscovered. He couldn't escape the feeling that there were things out there, hidden just beyond the edges of his understanding, waiting to reveal themselves. But what if some mysteries were never meant to be solved? Igor's experience in the Siberian wilderness changed him in ways he didn't expect. After that night, the forest he once knew so well became something different, mysterious, even a little threatening. He couldn't shake the image of the shadowy figure, and his once peaceful connection with the land felt forever altered. But the strange events he encountered weren't isolated to just his corner of the world. What if there were other places where similar creatures roamed, just beyond what we can see or understand? What if those stories we've heard for years were based on something real, something waiting to be discovered? Across the globe, reports of strange creatures and eerie encounters keep popping up. It seems like the mystery isn't fading away but growing, sparking new curiosity. Maybe the forest's secrets aren't as hidden as we thought, and perhaps those who've been brave enough to venture into the unknown have seen things that could change everything. Bigfoot and its existence have always been a topic of mystery and intrigue, with sightings and evidence popping up across North America. And in recent years, reports of encounters have only increased, fueling the ongoing debate about whether this elusive creature really exists. Let's dive into some of the most compelling Bigfoot sightings and evidence from late 2023 and 2024 that have caught the attention of experts and enthusiasts alike. A trail camera in the South Mountain Preserve of Arizona captured a striking image on September 24, 2024. The footage, which has been analyzed by both skeptics and believers, shows a large, upright figure moving through the frame. This figure's robust build and distinct bipedal movement have raised eyebrows in the Bigfoot community. While some argue that it could be a bear or another large animal, the posture of the creature is what sets it apart. Bears don't typically walk upright in this way, and the size of the figure does not quite match what you would expect from a bear. even when standing on its hind legs. What makes this footage even more intriguing is that the area it was captured in has seen occasional reports of strange sightings in the past, though no clear explanation has ever been found. Could this be another piece of the puzzle, or is it just another hoax? For now, the jury's still out, but the credibility of the footage has sparked significant conversation. It doesn't end there, though. This is just one of countless encounters reported over the years, with many more still adding to the list, each one more chilling than the last. In October 2023, a resident in Fairfield County, Connecticut, reported hearing loud, patterned yelps that were believed to be from a Sasquatch. The sounds, which lasted about 10 minutes, were described as deep, powerful calls that seemed to come from the forest nearby. This wasn't just some random animal sound. It was deliberate and organized, with repeating patterns that resembled a call of some kind. The resident, who was familiar with the area and its wildlife, was convinced that these were not the usual sounds of local animals. In fact, this report led the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, BFRO, to take a closer look. They categorized the sighting as Class B, which indicates that while it might not be definitive proof, it's credible enough to warrant further investigation. Could it be that Bigfoot is closer than we think? The sounds themselves fit the pattern of other Sasquatch encounters, adding to the growing pile of unexplainable phenomena in the area. Connecticut isn't exactly known as a Bigfoot hotspot, but the frequency of reports seems to suggest that these mysterious creatures could be more widespread than we realize. Just a month later, in November 2024, multiple witnesses in Thurston County, Washington, reported a Bigfoot sighting that has since made waves in the community. Thurston County has long been considered a hotbed for Sasquatch activity, with sightings dating back decades. This most recent sighting was particularly intriguing because of the consistency of the reports. The witnesses described a large, upright figure moving through the dense forest near Little Rock, about 3 miles south of the town. What's notable here is the fact that the witnesses, who didn't know each other, independently described similar details of the creature, including its size and gait. This isn't the first time Washington has seen Bigfoot reports. In fact, it's one of the regions most frequently cited by people who believe in Sasquatch. In April 2024, there was another sighting near Black River. And before that, a multi-witness sighting occurred in February 2024 along a power line route just north of Centralia. With all these reports coming from the same area, it begs the question, is Washington State a Bigfoot haven? What makes these sightings even more significant is that they're coming from regions with dense forests and rugged terrain, places where sightings might not just be the result of misidentified wildlife, but could, in fact, point to something much more elusive. With each new report, the mystery of Bigfoot only grows, and the possibility that these creatures roam unnoticed in remote areas of North America becomes more plausible. As technology continues to improve, and more people venture into the wilderness with cameras and recording devices, it's possible that we'll soon have concrete evidence, one way or another, about whether Bigfoot is a creature of legend or a real flesh and blood being hiding in plain sight. The Bigfoot phenomenon isn't just about strange sightings, it's about the unknown. The fact that these creatures have remained hidden for so long, despite the advances in technology and the ever-growing population of researchers, is what keeps the mystery alive. Each sighting, each piece of footage, and each strange sound reported by witnesses adds fuel to the fire. People continue to search for answers, hoping that one day we'll have irrefutable proof that we're not alone in the forests of North America. Until then, Bigfoot will remain one of the most captivating and elusive creatures in folklore, continuing to inspire debate and excitement. For now, we can only wait and wonder. Will we ever find the definitive evidence that proves Bigfoot exists? Or will these sightings remain as tantalizing glimpses of a creature that's always just out of reach? Only time will tell. And as the mystery surrounding Bigfoot deepens, so does the search for scientific evidence that might shed light on the creature's existence. While sightings and encounters continue to captivate the public's imagination, advancements in technology and the persistence of researchers have led to some surprising findings. Is it possible that, with the right tools, we could uncover concrete evidence of Bigfoot's existence? Let's explore the latest scientific breakthroughs that may offer new hope in proving Bigfoot's reality. The mystery of Bigfoot, or the Yeti as it's known in Siberia, has fascinated people for centuries. Recently, there has been a surge of scientific efforts aimed at unraveling the truth behind these elusive creatures. The hunt for proof has intensified with exciting new developments, as researchers and cryptozoologists have joined forces to dig deeper into this enduring mystery. In Siberia, the annual Yeti Conference has become a major event for those interested in uncovering the truth. Held in the heart of the Siberian wilderness, it brings together experts, enthusiasts, and even eyewitnesses who have reported sightings or encounters with creatures that can only be described as unknown hominids. During the conference, evidence is presented: footprint casts, hair samples, and recordings of strange sounds, all suggesting that something out of the ordinary may be lurking in the forests. It's a gathering that challenges the line between myth and reality, with experts confidently stating that the evidence so far, though still inconclusive, is enough to warrant serious study. The discussion is far from speculative. Rather, it's focused on encouraging a more structured and scientific approach to the mystery. Some even suggest that the findings should be looked at as proof of an undiscovered species. Despite the strong evidence, no one has yet found the smoking gun to confirm the existence of the Yeti. But the conference continues to fuel interest and exploration in the area. But there's more to the story than just modern-day sightings and hearsay. In fact, historical documents and old Soviet-era manuscripts have recently been translated, revealing a whole new dimension to Bigfoot research. These manuscripts were previously classified, but once they were made public, they painted a fascinating picture of the Soviet Union's interest in cryptozoology. One key figure, Boris Porshnev, a Soviet historian and cryptozoologist, played a significant role in studying reports of mysterious creatures in remote areas like the Pamir Mountains. The newly translated documents show that the Soviets were actively investigating sightings of wild men in these regions long before the West became obsessed with Bigfoot. Some of these early Soviet researchers even speculated that the Yeti might be a relict population of Neanderthals. Imagine that, a connection between modern-day creatures and our prehistoric ancestors. This gives the phenomenon a historical context that modern researchers can't ignore, adding weight to the idea that there could be something to these sightings after all. Among the many people dedicated to Bigfoot research, Dr. Igor Burtsev stands out as a leading figure in the field. This Russian hominologist has spent over 50 years studying Bigfoot and related phenomena. His fieldwork has led him across Russia, where he's collected footprints, hair samples, and even audio recordings that could suggest the presence of a mysterious creature. Dr. Burtsev is one of the few who not only pushes for a more rigorous scientific investigation into these sightings, but also advocates for the recognition of hominology as a legitimate science. He argues that it's not just about chasing myths or engaging in wild speculation. Instead, it's about taking a multidisciplinary approach to the study of these mysterious beings. He draws on anthropology, genetics, and even ecology to back up his findings. For Dr. Burtsev, this is far from just a passing interest. He sees it as his life's work to bring scientific credibility to a subject many consider a mere legend. The combined impact of these developments, the ongoing findings at the Yeti Conference, the historical revelations from Soviet documents, and Dr. Burtsev's ongoing research, has reshaped how we think about Bigfoot. These aren't just random pieces of folklore. They're part of a growing body of evidence that suggests we may be dealing with something real, something still unexplained by modern science. The study of Bigfoot is no longer relegated to the realm of myth and conspiracy theories. Instead, it's becoming a serious field of inquiry, with legitimate scientists and researchers calling for further investigation. It's clear that while skepticism remains, these new insights are laying the groundwork for more serious consideration of the creature's existence. As the scientific community embraces new technologies and more rigorous methodologies, the possibility that Bigfoot, or the Yeti, is a real, undiscovered species becomes more likely. With the continued support of seasoned researchers, historical context, and cutting-edge science, the search for these elusive creatures seems to be gaining momentum. Each new discovery, whether it's a footprint in Siberia or a newly translated manuscript, brings us one step closer to understanding what these strange beings might actually be. And who knows? We may soon discover that the truth is far stranger than we've ever imagined. With new evidence continually emerging and researchers using advanced methods, the possibility that Bigfoot or similar creatures may actually exist is becoming harder to dismiss. However, the abundance of conflicting reports and interpretations raises an important question. How do we separate fact from fiction when it comes to these mysterious beings? In October of 2024, a video showing what appeared to be Bigfoot roaming the woods of Oklahoma quickly caught the attention of viewers across the internet. People were excited, claiming the footage might finally offer irrefutable proof of the creature's existence. But here's the twist. It was later revealed that the video was a well-executed marketing stunt designed to promote a new film or product. The viral moment sparked a lot of questions, most notably, how can we tell the difference between genuine evidence and a carefully crafted hoax? This incident highlights a crucial point about Bigfoot research and sightings. The growing number of hoaxes makes it increasingly difficult to separate fact from fiction. In today's digital age, creating convincing fake videos or images is easier than ever. So how do researchers sift through the noise and determine what's real? This is where it gets tricky. With Bigfoot sightings, the key is using standards and methods that help separate credible reports from those that are simply too good to be true. When scientists and researchers assess Bigfoot sightings, they don't just take someone's word for it. They use a few essential criteria to evaluate the evidence, and it's not as simple as watching a video. First, they look at consistency. Does the sighting match other known patterns or behaviors of animals that have been observed in that area? It's important that the report aligns with what's already understood about wildlife in the region. This is where many hoaxes fall apart, because they often exaggerate details or show behaviors that don't match anything documented in nature. Then there's corroboration. Can the sighting be verified by multiple witnesses or supported by physical evidence? One person claiming to see Bigfoot is one thing, but several credible witnesses or evidence like footprints or hair samples can help bolster a claim. Of course, even physical evidence must be carefully tested, which brings us to the next criterion: plausibility. Is the story believable within the ecological context? If someone claims to have seen Bigfoot in an area that's highly populated or frequently trafficked, it becomes less likely that the creature could have stayed hidden in plain sight for so long. And here's where things get really interesting. The evidence itself, like hair samples, footprints, or even photographs, needs to be analyzed by experts. Just as any other scientific claim would be scrutinized, Bigfoot evidence must go through rigorous testing. DNA analysis of hair or other samples could potentially tell us if it's from a known animal or something entirely unknown. If the evidence holds up under scrutiny, it could significantly shift the narrative. But the Oklahoma Bigfoot video is a reminder of how easy it is for misleading information to spread. After all, for a brief moment, people genuinely believed they were seeing something groundbreaking. This hoax was expertly crafted, and for those who hadn't developed the tools to critically evaluate the footage, it seemed almost too real. The internet is full of such cases, where sensational content goes viral and leaves people questioning what they can actually trust. In the end, the challenge lies not just in finding Bigfoot, but in ensuring the research and evidence are credible. So the next time you come across a viral Bigfoot video, take a step back and consider whether it holds up to these standards. While the possibility of finding new evidence is thrilling, it's crucial to apply scientific rigor to avoid being misled by clever hoaxes. This approach is key to making any real progress in the search for Bigfoot and maintaining trust in the field of cryptozoology. The ongoing research and sightings surrounding Bigfoot continue to spark intrigue and debate. From trail camera footage to expert conferences and Soviet-era manuscripts, the mystery of this elusive creature is far from over. Could there really be an unknown hominid roaming the wilderness, or is it all just folklore? What do you think? Could Bigfoot exist, or is it simply a myth? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.